Welcome back to the final part of Crash Bandicoot, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the last stretch here.
It's time for us to crash.
It's time for us to crash, and miss the jump.
Failure.
It is, from what I've never seen it, like on YouTube or anything like that, but from what I've heard, it is possible to make that jump. It's pretty funny because what in theory, if you make that jump and jump into the end portal, you wouldn't have died. So you would go through that sequence of crash of the game telling you how many boxes you missed, and I imagine that sequence would just go on forever because you missed every box in the level.
So like that just ends the level if you can make that jump.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Yeah,
Obviously, you're designed not to, but I would be very curious to see if that jump is actually able to be made, and if so, if the game has compensated for that, because it really does seem like, obviously, the game was made. That jump was made for you to miss it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anyone's been able to pull it off, it's probably through a Game Shark.
Interesting.
Sure. That's probably where the rumor stemmed from. Because again, I've never
there's
seen
like a
it personally.
pixel. There's like an invisible pixel you can land on or something.
It's probably pixel perfect.
An invisible polygon, I should say.
Or probably just like make it like higher jumps.
Yeah, sure.
This looks pretty tense, like trying to navigate through all those things.
Yeah,
we're squashed by the things.
We're breaking the fourth, the Z-axis there.
Well, can you save in this game?
You can. I don't do it because I did this in one sitting.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can save either through the bonus rounds. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think. Yeah. Sorry. I had deja vu all of a sudden. I think we brought that up. But you can either save through a memory card if you have one, or through the bonus rounds. You have to complete a bonus.
Right.
round,
There's like passwords. Right?
Yeah, and the passwords can get pretty obnoxious. If you are going for 100%, the passwords become super passwords once you reach like a certain threshold of gems, and those passwords I think are like, oh god, they're like 24 characters long.
Jeez.
I mean, you would write them down, obviously.
Yeah, unless you have a really good memory, but yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's funny thinking about like a time where it's the beginning of the PS1. It's like the first major console that has memory cards, and so you can't depend on everyone knowing that they need a memory card, so you have to make a password system for your game. Like, when I got my Sega Dreamcast, I did not know you needed a memory card, because that was the first console of that type that I had since, like that was the first console I had since the Sega Genesis, so I didn't know that memory cards were a thing at all, which led to a lot of waking up super early, trying to get as far as I can in Sonic Adventure, and then having to do the whole thing over again.
That sucks.
No, but it's Sonic.
Yeah,
it's a Sonic game.
But when you got to a new part, it was so awesome.
Yeah, but Sonic Adventure is pretty long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
I mean, I got a memory card a couple weeks in.
Oh.
But yeah, those first couple weeks were like, man, am I supposed to start this game every time? I think the first time I unlocked like Tails in that game was like, oh my god, there's more characters than this.
And then you find out there's 6.
And then you find out that there's Big the Cat.
Oh.
You know, it's funny, when I was young, the idea of having like a fishing, like, I was just like, yeah, okay. Like, I was like, yeah, fine. I guess there's fishing in this game. Why not? Sure. Like, it didn't even faze me, the idea that a Sonic game had a fishing portion in it. I didn't even think about it. I was like, okay, I guess that's just what they're doing with this game.
I can't keep a straight face right now.
It's true. I think, you know what? I think the world could use a little bit more of that. A little bit more
what,
of
Dan,
like, okay, I guess this is what's happening now.
Ask and you shall receive. Have you heard of the Sonic fan hack called Big's Fishing Derby?
Oh god.
I believe I actually have.
It's a single player game. It's better if you play it with 2 people. But basically you're fishing as it's a 2D game, and you're just sorry, I'm just trolling Brio right now. It's basically a competitive fishing game with Big the Cat and Eggman.
Sure.
And you're both, and the mission is to try whoever captures Froggy first wins the round.
Yeah, I think that weird shit is what the Sonic. I mean, I think that weird stuff is what makes Sonic Adventure like a really interesting game, if not necessarily a good one. And it's the kind of thing that they totally didn't do. Probably for good reason they didn't do it later on, but you know, there's some weird shit going on in that game.
You wanna know something
and
weird?
I can respect that.
You want to know something even weirder? There is something called Big Big's Fishing Adventure 3. And you actually find it by going to your web browser and typing in bigthesea.at.
Okay. Big
And you play this.
Big the Sea, sure.
You play this like narrative game with Big the Cat, and I never actually finished it. But at one point you play like Flappy Cats, and then you play some other random games. It's really, really weird.
I might have to look into that. I'm playing a few other Sonic fan games right now that I finally got a PC.
You just can't get enough.
You know what, man? I just can't.
Will, how do you feel about just having beaten Robin Williams' character from Flubber?
Well, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good, actually, because it means I get to progress through this level, and I'm that much closer to beating the game. So, there's your answer, Dan.
Great. I like that it gave you the alternate dimension where Robin Williams fuses with the Flubber and becomes Flubber himself.
Wait, is that what we just killed?
I think so.
Damn.
That's what it looked like.
This is this level is nice because this is the only time we see this level trope, the lab, and it's leading to the it leads straight to the straight to the final boss. Sort of.
Sure.
We'll get to that when we get to that. But this level's a nice finishing challenge. It's designed well enough to be like, you know, to throw some pretty gnarly obstacles at you without being totally unfair. Not unlike the Angry Video Game Nerd game, because that level is truly the definition of unfair.
That is a frame of reference that I do not have.
Neither do I.
Oh, you guys know the Angry Video Game Nerd.
I mean, I know who he is. I have
yeah.
zero interest in ever seeing anything that he's done.
The game, I liked his stuff back in like high school. I haven't seen anything since then, but when he came out with his game, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a platformer. Sure, I'm gonna give this a try because that's my MO. God, it's very well done. I missed like most of the references in that game, but it just in terms of like a game, it's very well designed.
Oh.
Death by door. I guess that would hurt. Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah, man, having a fucking steel door close on your head.
Yeah, there's spikes on the bottom of that shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you forget that when you are like a kid, if you lived in a house, like you forget that like there was a time in your life where garage doors closing was like a real threat. You know, like I remember that actually being a thing of being like, oh God, make sure that it's like my mom being like, hey, just call me to close the door because I don't want you closing it on yourself.
Well, okay, nowadays they have sensors.
A lot of the time, yes.
Yeah, and I'm personally really glad because sometimes I just try to close the door and then rush through it before it closes because I don't know.
Yeah,
He wants to go fast.
Yeah, because I want to go
lots
fast.
of moments of that when I was a child, of my mom being like, okay, I'm gonna close the door, and we'd be like, okay, don't worry about the garage, and her watching me run through the garage with my bike, mouth agape.
Is he gonna make it?
Like, oh
Is
no,
he gonna
don't
make
do
it?
that.
So, we're getting pretty close to the end of this thing. So, like, should we start with our closing thoughts, or should we wait for that until like the very end?
Well, I mean, what do you guys think of everything so far? There's nothing. Yeah, we're pretty much near. Actually, you know what? No. We're approaching a level that I should probably explain. And then I think the credits are long enough for us to share our thoughts.
All right.
I mean, it's not
so
like
this is the
super
Great
complex
Hall.
game, right?
It doesn't look so great.
And
That was a small hall.
And that was the Great Hall. No, okay. So the here's the thing about the Great Hall. If you collect all of the gems in the game, you can, and it's very possible to do so before facing Cortex. It creates a path for you, and you jump on all the gems until they run out. You do need all of them. You can't cheese your way through any of them. Yeah, and basically, at the end of the hall is Tana, your girlfriend, and she has a vulture, like one of those vultures that we keep killing. And you guys fly off into the distance, and the credits roll, and that's literally the end of the game. So you can beat this
There's
game
your good ending.
not facing Cortex at all. Which isn't the canon ending, but it's a thing. The only thing you get for that is you get like a cool end credit sequence that explains what all the characters have done with their lives. Like Embryo, he tends bar now.
I thought that if you got all the gems, like it would reveal that you unlock the true ending and you become Super Crash.
I mean, that's minus the super crash. That's basically what happens. The gems give you the true ending. And that's that.
And that's but it's not even the true ending. It's one of those weird circumstances where 100%ing this game actually doesn't give you like the quote unquote canon ending, because the next game starts with the ending that you get for the not 100% completion.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that boss fight seemed really easy, Will.
Yeah, Cortex is sort of lame. Like, it's, yeah. He goes flying.
Sure.
And that's it. I mean, the trick, the most, I think the most, the difficulty, quote unquote, with this boss, with Cortex, is that you don't really know how to beat him, because the game never tells you that you can deflect those green projectiles back. The only thing that you really get a hint from is Embryo's boss fight, because the green things you can spin back or you can attack, but I don't think it's good enough for a hit, because honestly when I was a kid I found that out by complete accident.
Sure. Man, one QA guy. Wow.
Well, if you looked earlier,
As someone who works QA right now, that's shocking to me.
Well, if you looked earlier, like they had like one guy, his name was just Morgan, no last name, just Morgan.
Oh really?
Oh, okay, they have more testers.
Yeah.
Never mind. Here's all the people. There we go. That looks more correct.
So yeah, that was Crash Bandicoot for the PlayStation. What do you guys think now that you've seen a not 100% playthrough of the game?
Yeah, I mean, it seems all right. Like, I'm surprised by how much it holds up. Definitely parts where it doesn't, but I can very much appreciate, I guess, this alternate approach to 3D platforming before Nintendo figured it out. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Mike Mothersbaugh. He must have done some of the music to this or something. Mark Mothersbaugh was a member of Devo.
Oh shoot, really?
Yeah, and also he also did the music. He does a lot of scores. Like he did the music for Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
And he's done it for a couple other things.
Oh, that's cool, because, yeah, it's amazing how some musicians' careers taken to video games. Like, David Copeland from the Police, was it?
Douglas Copeland.
Douglas Copeland.
No, not Douglas Copeland. What am I talking about?
No, not Douglas. No, I'm pretty
is
sure it's Stuart Copeland?
Stuart Copeland.
Stuart
that's right.
Copeland.
Douglas Copeland is the Canadian author.
Oh, anyway, Mr. Copeland
Yeah.
from the Police did he did the soundtrack for Spyro the Dragon around the same time that Crash came
Oh.
out. So and did a kick-ass job.
I
with it.
remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way about this game that Dan does, except it's weird because I know I played this game as a kid and I remember almost none of it.
Yeah, there's nothing totally memorable about Crash 1. All I ever remember, I've played this tons of times, so I know all the level tropes and everything like that. But I don't know. For me, the most memorable thing is the design. You just know when you sit down with this game, you're gonna have a good old platforming time. And in some ways, that's all. Yeah, that's all I want from a game.
I give this game a good effort medal.
Yeah,
the biggest thing I remember from Crash is the one where the boulder is chasing you.
Yeah, and that trope, they definitely build on that trope in the next games. The next one has a polar bear, and then there's a level where you're riding a baby polar bear to get away from the bigger polar bear, and then the next level they just throw fucking dinosaurs at you.
Do the polar bears end up treating you to Coke?
No,
soft drink
Naughty
you're talking
Dog.
about.
Yeah, just so everyone's clear, the baby polar bear is not a drug dealer. Nope. I do not
I meant
believe
Coca-Cola, but
Coca-Cola
okay.
had any affiliations with Naughty Dog or vice versa at that time. But yeah, that was Crash 1. Personal favorite of mine. It's a solid platformer. most people, I think, the general consensus of the game is that it's solid, but it doesn't really hold a candle to the future games. But for what it is, it's a pretty solid game. So yeah, I guess
Sweet.
if we're all good, this has been
Awesome.
the 3 Amiibros. I'm Will,
I'm Jordan.
And I'm Daniel.
and thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.